Te Waka, Aroho, St Faith's, New Brighton, Hugh Mould. Welcome.
Tēnā koe Council. I'm Hugh Mould, member of the Anglican Synod of Christchurch until they meet again in September, so hopefully you'll get a friendly bishop.
Well, we've already started a campaign for Beck for Bishop, so I don't know whether that's going to work.
Excuse me while I represent one of our smaller organisations rather than the diocese. I'm here as part of APEC. So I did try and convince them that they should arrange business shirts, but as a youth organisation going to Easter camp, they felt that the T-shirts were much better. But that's designed by our youth worker, who is part of the Anglican parish of East Christchurch. You may well know us.
APEC has a different meaning in my mind.
Absolutely. As I say, lovely white shirts, or should I say slightly different colours,
yes,
depending on where they
right.
attend.
Depending on where they are.
But needless to say, I don't want to talk to you about economics, but I do. I actually want to talk to you about equity and not equality. You as council are called to represent equality. Your ratepayers demand that you serve them just as much as anyone else. Well, sometimes those with money might feel that you should serve them better, but that's okay. I don't actually care about those people. I care about the ones without money, those that you are called to serve. Now, in the foundation of this city, of the Canterbury settlement, the Provincial Council was actually given a funding model that you follow to this day. Know it or not, the third, or in this case, the third and the 2/3 are absolutely relevant. Unfortunately, the city would not have you spend a third of your budget on the church. Originally, however, the sale of the land did state that a third of the income would go to the Anglican Diocese of Christchurch, or our church property trustees. We will graciously let you keep that third. However, another third was to go to the social good of the city, of the region. And I'm glad to say that approximately a third of your budget, although I do note that James did point out that it's a decreasing and declining part of your budget, has, since perhaps we'll say a period not that long ago, been dedicated to looking out for the social good. And it's been budgeted well. My concern is that just as we've talked about social housing with Reverend Katrina, that you might feel that capital expenses are really where your gambit, your authority as council ends. I would like to be clear that just like my friends from Youth Alive Trust, my friends that talk about arts and about social good, resiliency is something this city really needs at the moment. Resiliency is that word where I wasn't going to say it originally, but I've had a week where I needed to be resilient. My apologies for, or should I say, my absolute privilege to say you got to enjoy an extra 10 minutes on me last week. I don't know who got to use that up, whether or not you got a break or someone spoke longer. But I was actually sitting not far away, or should I say flat on my back not far away, because I managed to flip my car on Saturday morning. Not in your region, you're okay, Waimak shall answer for that one. And I should say I'm resident in Waimakariri, but work in your community as one of the 2 employees that make up the full-time equivalent community worker at Te Waka Aroho, St Faith's. Now, of course, all of you that have got your social media outfits open, particularly Facebook, do feel free to pop a like on there. It's St Faith's, New Brighton. You'll see my social media presence there. It's usually me or Joe that tells you some warm fuzzy, and occasionally we ask for someone to help us come and cut old people's toenails, not noses. We don't cut noses off. But we do need help. And in fact, we have around about 40 or more volunteers. I'd like to say, like James, I have 45 volunteers. I approximated at 40. We do actually, as I say, have 5 days a week coverage as community workers, and occasionally we do get council grants, but we're also funded by Rata and the David Allison Trust. David Allison was a lovely man who happened to be the nephew of the Bishop of London, worked for our wonderful college, Christ College, and in his dotage decided that he quite liked eating with our waifs and strays at our community meal. Our community meal is open to anyone, including councillors. We have it on a Wednesday, around about 12 o'clock. We start, before we go into our eating space, with a song and kai, and those that have gathered since about 11 o'clock have probably had a cup or 2 or 3 of coffee, sometimes with 1, 2 or 4 sugars. And that's all free. We ask for a koha, but what we are is we are the love boat. We are Te Waka Aroho. And we journey together, and we're part of the resiliency of the East. But we're only one aspect of what APEC does for the city. And we're not asking for you to do a lot for us. In fact, we're only asking you to do what you need to, what you're morally obliged to, what the city has done or should have done from word one, from day one, from 1850 or at least 1876 onwards. We need to be taking care and using that third wisely. Do not let that third decrease. It's not about the monetary value, but it is about the value you put on those that are needing equity, not equality. Equity means that you actually serve those that are worse off first. Resiliency after the earthquakes was very easy for those with credit cards and professional lives or social networks that provided them easy escape or a simple solution. For those that don't have a simple solution, for those with no money to spare in their bank account, no car to drive, the fact that we're talking about motorways or car parking or bringing revitalisation to our central city business district may all be relevant, but it's only relevant to them to a point. And just like James pointed out, I too am concerned about Thompson Park and the Rawiti or Rafiti domain, depending on whether you're local or not. And as I say, I mean, we do training, we do Red Cross things, but I sometimes walk. And I have to admit, when I walk around Thompson Park or Rafiti domain, I do see the freedom campers, but I also see the locals who have nowhere to go. I see the ones that are living from bed to bed. I see the ones where they drive their station wagon to park up along Marine Parade and no, they're not freedom camping. They're homeless. We give them a hot coffee during the day, but at 4 o'clock we close our doors. We have to. Every now and again we know someone comes and sleeps under our veranda. Every now and again we know that someone's going through a hard time. We try and provide them with equity, equality, friendship and fellowship. We are APEC, but we are Te Waka Aroho. We are the boat that asks you to do nothing but come. And I want you to be the council that remembers that as a city, you were founded with principles of love and fellowship and goodwill to all. And even if we disagree about what we do with our brass, or should I say our bricks and mortar, remember that Victoria was honest when she said, we care about the last, the least and the lost. And even if we don't do it under the same branding all the time, we are the Church of Christchurch. And we don't claim to be the only church, and we don't claim to be the only place that does good. But remember, we try to do what we are responsible for. But we don't do what you do. You have much better tools and mechanisms to do things. We can only help pick up the pieces.
Kia ora, thank you very much. Phil.
Thank you very much, Hugh. That was a very impressive deputation. Can I just ask you, around the comments around the people who are homeless in the Rafiti, New Brighton area, you may be aware that City Mission actually helped us do a count for the number of homeless in the city, and it came around 200 people. I certainly know from my area in my suburb, especially near Addington, that there's a lot of other hidden people. Our council have a fund, it's a community resilience fund, where in fact Housing First, as a government-backed program, we could contribute to. I just wonder if you think that might be a good way for us to, as a council, to actually support some of those people who are the worst off.
Certainly would be welcome to see further contribution towards housing. It is one that we obviously have close links to council services and to the Ministry of Social Development, so we do definitely make referrals. But yes, any further thought that could happen in this chamber or through the work of the councillors or the staff would be most welcome.
Excellent. Sarah? Oh. Yes, I know. Sorry, I didn't look. I didn't look before I saw you.
If you want. That's fine.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks very much for your time. Appreciate it.